What's up everybody, it's RJ with Twin Halos, and if you're wearing a back brace or you've been debating on getting a low back brace, I'm going to give you a few exercises to help strengthen your core. That way you don't have to wear any more equipment when riding motocross. It's like a championship belt. So the reason why I got one of these championship belts, aka a low back brace, is because my low back was constantly just fatigued when I was riding motocross, not really knowing that I needed to increase my strength in my core. I did plenty of deadlifts, but I didn't understand how to strengthen my core and not just my low back, which would help alleviate a lot of back pain for a lot of riders that are wearing some of these back braces. So I'm going to give you a few exercises that way you can start to strengthen your core, which includes your low back, and you can get rid of this thing. So one of the things that you need to know how to do is the hip hinge. Some of my recent videos I talked about the deadlift and the attack position. You need to know how to hip hinge from here to here without sacrificing your low back when you do that. So if you're doing deadlifts and you feel it really painful in your low back, this is going to help you. The first thing that you need to understand is your pelvis. Is it tucked in or is it sticking out? You need to have that control. You need to be able to move your pelvis like this. That way, when you get into this position, you can move it if you need to. That way you improve your technique when doing a deadlift or when you're in that attack position when you're on the bike. So one thing that you need to do is tuck your pelvis under like this. That's gonna squeeze, you're gonna squeeze your abs and your butt is gonna tuck in like that. Now do the opposite and stick your butt out, the Instagram booty. So sticking it out and coming back in, you're gonna find those two extremes, and now you're gonna just get in the middle and find where is that good posture for you. So before getting into the hip hinge, you're going to squeeze your glutes and squeeze your abs before doing anything. So squeeze both of these areas here, put your hands on your thighs and let your hands go down your thigh. And now you should be cupping your kneecaps just like this. This should be a good position without extending your back or tucking your pelvis under like this. You should find that happy medium when you're in this position here. What you want to do with your legs, you don't want them to come in like that. So what you're going to do is press your knees out slightly. You're going to keep the tension on your glutes as you do that. So when you go into a deadlift and you come up, you should feel it in your glutes and in your hamstrings. Another exercise that we do are the bent over rows, just like this. So because we're in that bent over position like this, in that attack position, we need to know how our pelvis is going to react. So make sure you do this in front of a mirror and see, what does your back look like? Is your pelvis tucked under? Is your upper back like this too? If so, stick your chest out a little bit. Fix your pelvis and find that position. That way you have a good neutral spine and you have good technique, not only when you're in the attack position, but when you're doing the deadlift too. So now I'm gonna give you a few core exercises that are gonna tie in the obliques, because these are really weak on a lot of people that have low back pain. So the first exercise is going to be the side plank. Instead of just holding this position, we're gonna make it a little more dynamic. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our top foot forward just like this and place our hand here. We're gonna start in this position, and then from here we're going to push our hips up and then squeeze at the top. So the exercise is going to look like this. Drop your hip and then come up. Your free hand could be either on your hip or on your head here as you do this exercise. So the side plank is going to help strengthen not only our obliques, but everything on the side of our body. So it's gonna tie in the lats, into the low back, and also into the glutes. This is where a lot of the weakness comes from, because these muscles aren't trained together. And this side plank is gonna help tie everything in and hopefully alleviate some of your pain. Now the next exercise is definitely going to help alleviate some of your issues, because we lack rotational strength when we train. So the second exercise is going to be the windshield wiper. This is going to not only increase rotational strength, but also increase our range of motion while we do this exercise. So the way we're gonna start is palms face down, legs are going to come up. Now we're going to maintain this 90-degree position with our legs. So palms down, As you drop your feet to one side, you're gonna try and keep the opposite shoulder on the floor as best you can. So keep the shoulder there. If this is all you can go and your shoulder starts to come up, just stop here and then come up, because you don't want the exercise to pull you up like this. Keep your shoulder on the floor and then come up and do the same thing to the other side. So when training the core, a lot of people look at just the six pack and our low back. You also want to tie in the obliques, because that's going to help decrease a lot of back pain and increase rotational strength, which is what you want in motocross, because we're not constantly riding straight on. The bike is either swapping back and forth or we're turning, so we need to have that good strength. And also we want to eliminate the use of a back brace, because we don't want to have a quote-unquote weightlifting belt as we go ride. You want to have that strength and you want to have that internal weightlifting belt. So you want a well-rounded core when riding motocross, because it's going to make everything so much easier. So this is why a lot of these things are implemented in the program Iron Foundation, because you've got to start creating a solid core and then extend from there. So build a solid foundation from the core and then build out from there. So implement these two exercises the next time you go to train core. The way you're gonna do that is you're gonna do the first exercise, then the second exercise with no rest in between, and rest for 30 seconds once you complete the second exercise. So you're gonna do both of them back to back, which is called a superset. Do that 3 to 4 times and you should be good to go. So if you found this informative, please give it a thumbs up. Other than that, that's it for me. I'm RJ with Twin Halos. I'll see you guys in the next video.